Hello and welcome on 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Adeni Ajishafe. Well, we just have to start from the home scene. We have to quickly look at two matches that will be coming up today in the Nigerian National League, NNL. Well, match day 3 is here for the weekend, but today we'll be looking at two matches. AFCC, they'll be facing FWC champions. That's going to be a derby in Abuja. AFCC versus FWC champions in the Northern Conference A1 group. NNL fixtures. We have Southern Conference in the Group B2, FC One Rocket versus Crown FC. One Rocket will be at home against Crown FC there. Those are the two matches that will be coming up today in the Nigerian National League fixtures coming up. Well, joining me to talk sport is no other person than Olawale Peters. Good to have you.
Good evening, Adeni. It's my pleasure to be back to studio.
Good one there. We just saw there are just two matches in the NNL, at least for the second cadre of Nigerian football. Let people go out there to watch some football.
Yeah, and it's a good one. And also, we still need to, I will continue to say this, we still need more awareness to let people know that we have our own lower division, that is from there that the top 3 will qualify for the Nigerian Professional Football League, just like we have in Europe also. We have the same thing at home here, so that we can know that there's something they are doing over there
that we don't do here.
We don't do it here, and we do it better, looking at the resources we have available and how we are be able to optimally utilize them to the best of our knowledge. And for the match today, I hope the AFCC will not probe after winning the game.
Yes, it will not probe them that, okay, for example, FWC champions, Abuja, AFCC, Abuja. Let's see, and there are this other club, CTFC. At least Abuja is beginning to have, in the NNL, they have so many teams from Abuja. Also in the Women League, we have Nigeria Tels in the Women League, also from Abuja. It's only in the MPFL now that Abuja is still waiting to get at least that slot. Hopefully this season, from AFCC to CTFC to FWC also, maybe one of them, and other ones that are still playing there, also from Abuja.
Okay, it's a very good development, and before you can get to the bigger stage, you have to start from the grassroots.
Somewhere.
We saw also what the young boys did at the just concluded 39th Ramat competition, in which they won also. It shows that we are also doing very well. And I'm talking about Abuja because I'm part of Abuja.
Yes,
this is where we stay, this is where we work. So we claim Abuja for now. So that means that they are doing very well when it comes to the grassroots football, grassroots sport and development. And before you know it, it's going to be like in the next 2 or 3 years, you won't be surprised that the Abuja team, like the AFCC or the City club,
CTFC, FWC.
So they'll be the one dominating the Nigerian Professional Football League. People that have not been following what has been happening for the past 2 to 3 years. They'll be wondering, when did they start playing? Just about success. When someone made it in life, you're like, when did they start doing something? They didn't know that they've started for a very long time, but because of one thing or the other, they've not been able to showcase their talent. I think it's a very good one. And let's see who is going to win between the AFCC and FWC, a derby match that will be happening today.
Well, we wait to see what's going to happen concerning that game, those games rather, in the Northern Conference A1 and also in Southern Conference B2. We've been looking at the Nigerian National League fixtures that will be coming up today. The weekend is packed with a lot of matches. I will be on Saturday. Don't forget to join us by 10 a.m. as we'll be taking you around the world of sport. On 360 Sport Weekend, it will be a scintillating one. Just hang on with us. Now we move away. Let's look at some matches that will also be coming up in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Let's start with the English Premier League. A match will be coming up between Southampton at the St. Mary's Stadium against Norwich City. That will be a match that a lot of people that follow Southampton, we have Nigerians who actually follow Southampton. I met a man that if anytime he talks to me, he say, have you talked about Southampton? I'll be like, I'll be wondering, Southampton of all clubs? Yes. He said, that's my club. I love them. And really, the man knows the history, everything about that club. In fact, very few Nigerians. You know, we have so many Nigerians following Chelsea, Man U, Arsenal, but few follow all these, maybe I would call them smaller teams compared to all the size of the big one. But really, the man is so passionate about Southampton.
Okay, and we have people like that, and 2 things. Maybe he's following Southampton because of passion or because of bad belly. I'll tell you this. I recall a match between Manchester City and Southampton and Manchester United and Southampton. It was 1-1. I saw a lot of people jubilating and they are happy. I was like, are you a Southampton fan? He said, no.
They are happy.
They don't want Man U to win, or they don't want Manchester City to also win. So they play draw with the two teams. So you see a lot of people supporting Southampton as at that time. They are not really supporters. They are bad belly supporters because they don't want. So we have that also. So tonight's match is going to be an interesting one also. Let's see, maybe the Norwich City, who they have 17 points now. Newcastle have left them where they were both struggling at the bottom of the table now. So it's a game for them to win. And let's see if they will do to Southampton what Southampton have done to Manchester City. They play 1-1 draw with them. Manchester United 1-1 draw with them. And also with Everton, they beat Everton. They beat Tottenham also. So they've dealt with the big boys. So let's see, maybe Norwich also will really need tonight's match to swim above the relegation zone where they are and win tonight's match. Then Southampton also, they are sitting currently 10th on the table. So they need to consolidate because this is the time for all the teams to consolidate their stay in the Premiership or not. So it's going to be an interesting match to watch.
And if you consider the fact that really it's really going close and close because we have just March, April to play matches now, and you just have to be very careful. Whatever you cannot get now, it's very difficult. They
can't get it again, and they've played 26 matches, and they have 12 matches to play. So from the 26 matches that, let's take Norwich, for example, they got only 17 points. And for them to be comfortable that are not going to be relegated, they need at least minimum of, let's say, 30 points. So now the remaining 12 matches that are left for them to play, can they get 13 points while they got only 17 points from 26 matches? It's football. It's football. Anything can happen. They can go on winning streak by winning all their matches. But the other team also, they want to consolidate their home.
With all due respect to that team, can they go unbeaten in the remaining 12 matches?
They can break the record.
Let's see what maybe they will do Leicester after what they did last time. We've been looking at the English Premier League matches that will be coming up today. Well, a match Southampton will be at the St. Mary's Stadium versus Norwich City. Well, who knows? Maybe Pookie might just come to at least score for them, and maybe they can win. 12 matches to go for them. Can they win it all through without conceding any loss? Well, that's for the players to answer. Now we move away from English Premier League. Another match will be coming up in Spain, La Liga Santander, as some people call it, Primera La Liga there. Let's look at Levante versus Elche. Elche, well, for Levante, it has not been a wonderful season. They've really struggled. Elche, well, you can just call this team mid-table. These are whenever they play, there's some club when you mention their name, you just feel, well, they are just playing for being there. You can't rate them, you can't remove them. As long as for the whole season, they will play their 38 matches and complete the bandwagon.
Yes, and I think Elche, they still have more hope than Levante currently. Levante, they've won only how many matches this season? So their hope of not relegating, it's very, so they have to turn out the magic to be sure that they're not going to be relegated this season. That's the truth. Their last 5 matches, they've done very, very woeful. And this is the same Levante, the last 2-3 seasons, they're doing very well. They finished 10th, 13th. So this time around, they find themselves where they are not expected to find themselves. And they've been in the La Liga for the past 6 years. So probably this is the time for them to go back and fight with the lower division to see if they can come back. But sincerely,
and the lower division is not an easy place. It's so tough compared to even the top division. The lower division is tougher.
You know how difficult it is for you when you want to succeed in life, and you have a pool of people struggling and fighting with you. Recall those days when we were in school, and you want to make first class. You want to make distinction, you have to read. So it's all about what they need to really do now. How prepared are they to be sure that they are not relegated this season? The answer is left for them to answer during their match against Elche this evening. But Levante, it's a match for them to really need to win.
They just have to up their game. According to him, it's going to be a big one for Levante to survive the Primera Liga season. Well, it's been a wonderful time for Elche so far. Now, let's go to Italian Serie A. Still looking at matches that will be happening today. Over there, 2 matches. AC Milan will be at home against Udinese. Well, 2 Nigerians will be playing. Who knows? Maybe IC Success will be allowed to play in that game for Udinese. You have them playing against AC Milan. Genoa will be at home against Inter Milan. So all the Milan clubs will be they will be playing today. One is playing away, one is playing home. AC Milan so far.
Okay, and AC Milan so far, at least they have been in the surprise team of the season. Sincerely, they've done very, very well. They are topping the table right now with 56 points. And tonight's match is not a match for them to draw points, knowing fully that Inter, who is following them, they are playing tonight also. And Inter, they've played 25 matches, so they have one outstanding match to play. So if AC Milan should drop points today and Inter, they are able to win their match or draw their own match, that shows that it's going to be difficult for them to catch up now. But this is not the time for you to leave anything unturned. But if you look at the AC and the Inter Milan, I think they have they are meeting a very strong opponent in talking about Genoa. Genoa happens to be the only team that have recorded most draw in Serie A. They have about 16 this season.
So that shows that they have been very, very defensive.
More
than
defensive.
Any other team.
They've won only 3 matches. And their last 5 matches, they drew 4 and they lost 1. So that shows that if Inter Milan should draw tonight's match and AC Milan should win their own match against Udinese, then that means the gap will become widening. So that is something that they need to try and avoid. And coming from their last match against AC Milan, Liverpool also from the Champions League, 2-0, and they still have to prepare against the same Liverpool next week to play the second leg. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting match to see the fight of the 2 Milans, which of them will actually top it. It's been long that we saw the competition between AC Milan and Inter Milan. In the 90s, we used to say Inter, AC, Inter. For a very long time, we've not seen that. It's
Juventus dominated for almost good 9 years.
9 years, yeah. So now they are back again. And Juventus, you can see even Napoli, they have more chances of winning the Scudetto than Juventus because they are third on the table with 54 points. Just 2 points between them and the league table topper, which is AC Milan.
Well, we've been looking at the Serie A there. Matches that will be coming up today between AC Milan. Inter Milan will also be playing away to Genoa. AC Milan hosts Udinese over there at the Giuseppe Meazza. Well, that's the place to be for matches. If you love Italian Serie A defensive football, just watch those games here. If you love Nigerian football too, well, you just have to watch matches that will be coming up today. Also in the NNL, Nigerian National League, second tier of our league, where 2 teams will be playing themselves. AFCC versus FWC champions. And not forgetting the other match that will be coming up in the Southern Conference, Crown FC against FC1 Rocket there. Now we'll be looking at fixtures for this weekend, starting from today. Today is the day for those matches that we just mentioned. Let's go to Germany. Let's look at the German Bundesliga. Well, it's going to be just a match. VfB Stuttgart play away to 1899 Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim, the former team of, if I recall, Solomon Okoronkwo there. Well, now let's look at there's this guy that also played there, that played with Mikel Obi then. Obasi also playing with 1899 Hoffenheim. They will be playing against Stuttgart today in the game. These are, look at the history of 1899 Hoffenheim. Well, these are the club that when you look at the way they played then compared to now, you'll be wondering what really happened to teams like that.
Okay, they didn't go in line with the change that it needs to go in line with. That's the truth. What do I mean by the change? In terms of the philosophy of the player, of the coach, of the management, in terms of spending, in terms of player and buying of players, and in terms of the academy also, the grassroots academy of most of these clubs, they are not used to be what it used to be right now. So once you allow that to happen now, definitely you're going to lose. That's why what we are seeing now is Bayern Munich, Bayern Munich or Borussia Dortmund until they go back to the drawing board and make it to be very competitive. Where would they start it from? They started from their own academy. I remember in those days, we have a lot of Nigerians, Africans, that they go for trial matches in Germany, but now they don't do that now. What most of them they do right now is they look for a player to buy, and they don't have the financial muscle to wrestle the likes of Bayern Munich and co in the German league. If they go back to the drawing board, go back to those days where they make it mandatory that before you can play for at least 40 or 50% of your first team should come from your academy. That's something that has worked very well for Barcelona. It has worked very well for Barcelona. It's also worked for Madrid. It's worked also for Manchester United. So that's the difference between them and those teams. Imagine, they started since 1899. They started since 1899, but they didn't allow, they didn't transform together with the change in terms of the sporting activities. I think that's why they are where they are now.
These are teams that 1899, a very long time ago, they still have the history. In fact, kudos to them for still sustaining such. We know how many clubs that don't even stand for 6 months and they will collapse. Well, now let's go to France and look at, well, that's Germany there. Let's quickly look at future will be coming up in French Ligue 1, also in France. Well, Montpellier will be playing against Reims. That's the match that will be coming up today in the French Ligue 1. Well, Montpellier, you should remember John Utaka, the one they call the attacker. He played for that team in France. In fact, they won the French Ligue 1 at that time, and they were celebrating. Reims right now, they'll be playing away to Montpellier today.
Okay, I think it's a match for Reims to win if they want to play in the Europe next season. Currently, they are 5th on the table, and they have 40 points. Okay, and the 4th and 3rd, I think they're having 42 points. So if they should win tonight's match, so that will take them to 43 points, which can give them some so-called that, oh, okay, my campaign to play next year, either Champions League or Europa League, will be more visible. So Montpellier also, they're not going to fold their hands to allow them to come from their own, to come in front of their own fans and beat them. And you know one thing about the French league, it's more like one man, PSG. So the smaller teams, the other teams, this is an opportunity for them to get the necessary points that they need to get so that they can get more vibe into their own team. So I think it's going to be a very good match, but it's a match that I think Reims really needs to win, looking at their performance this season so far.
Looking at the performance this season so far, looking at French League 1 there. Now let's go to the news that broke out. Paris will be the place. Yes, it has been confirmed by UEFA that Paris will be hosting the UEFA Champions League final by May because of the crisis rocking Ukraine, Russia-Ukraine crisis right now. That war is getting to another level. Well, St. Petersburg will no longer be the final place where the final of this year Champions League will play. Paris they met and they agree that yes, UEFA rather, they made that Paris was going to be the venue for the final of this year Champions League. Well, this is the result you get from war.
Well, I think it's a very good development as far as I'm concerned. That's the truth. And we are talking about the security and the psyche of the player. We saw some of the Ukrainian players when they scored during the Europa League yesterday, the way they celebrated, because their mind is still at home with their families, with their people. So I think it's a very good development that let's take it away. At least they didn't ban the Russian team. St. Petersburg, they still played yesterday. So they didn't ban them that, oh, you're not going to play again. But we cannot guarantee the security of all the European players and the supporters that will come and will grace the final due to what is happening between you. It's part of the sanction from the European country. So I think it's a very good one. And I hope the PSG team, they will take this as an opportunity to play in the final and win the cup in front of their fans. And in their stadium. It's going to be a very good one for them.
Good one for them. Right now, we just said it there that Paris will be the place, rather, the city that will be hosting the UEFA Champions League for this year after taking it away from Russia due to what is happening between Russia and Ukraine. Still talking about Ukrainian issue. Well, Ukrainian Football Federation right now, they actually has announced suspension of their league there. Well, it has to be because of the crisis. A lot of players from Dynamo Shakhtar Donetsk, all the teams are running away from their homes because of crisis, bomb everywhere, and now they are saying stop the war. Well, they just have to suspend the league.
So I think the same way each time the club wants to play the kick against racism, I think they should start also now by saying the word stop war. Let's unite together. Whatever issue is, it's something that can be done diplomatically. So a lot of revenue, a lot of jobs will be lost, a lot of life will be lost based on this. Game of football in sports is one of the most interesting and most loved, both home and abroad. So I think they should just find a way so that they can continue to enjoy the beautiful game. Could you imagine what will have happened to all the players now that play in the Ukrainian league because of this? And I didn't blame their football federation.
For suspending
No.
Yes, it's better.
Security and safety of life first before any other thing. We pray that very soon normalcy will return back to the two countries.
Hopefully that will happen. Now, still talking about the development concerning the war. Now, to let you know that Formula One is supposed to be happening in Russia next month. But due to this, Sebastian Vettel, the German racer, right now is calling for Russia GP cancellation. The GP there stands for Grand Prix, and he's saying the Russian Grand Prix should be cancelled, according to Sebastian Vettel. Because if they suspend the National League and every other thing is under suspension for now, he wouldn't want to go to Russia to go and race.
Yeah, I even said it that if they didn't cancel it, he is not going at all. So, and that is a message. I think we need to unite and come together so that this war can stop.
You just have to work together for this war to go down, because it will affect a lot of things. You can see the effects on footballer, on sportsmen and women right now. UEFA just moved the Champions League final to Paris. Well, to let you know that the league has been suspended over there in Ukraine and so many other things. Now, let's take our last story before we go. We look at Schalke 04. Schalke 04 is a club in Germany in the Bundesliga, but they have been sponsored by Gazprom, a company, energy giant from Russia. But now they have agreed to remove logo of that Russian energy giant called Gazprom from jerseys. They will no longer allow that to be on the shirt of Schalke 04. German team are saying, no, we don't want to also, we will remove anything about Russia. That's Gazprom, is an energy giant in Russia. They are removing it from their shirt. They are sponsors for so many years, but now they are not looking at the profit or money. They look at lives of people, so they say, okay, no, we don't want this anymore.
What can we do with the profit and the money when there's no life? So that's why when it comes to security and the effects of what is going on between Russia and Ukraine, it will not stop in Russia and Ukraine alone. It will affect almost all the countries in Europe. That is why all of them are coming together with one voice to let it's part of what they can do currently now to stop what is going on. I think it's a very good development. It's not a permanent issue. It's something that is temporary, that, okay, for now, we're going to remove the logo, the sponsorship. When everything comes back to normal, then we continue our sponsorship and our business. I think it's a very good one. If this is what we need to do to stop the war, so we're supported.
This will really have a toll in the world of sport. Yeah. A lot of things will change, and it's happening right now. Gazprom will no longer be on the shirt of Schalke 04. Ukrainian league suspended. Sebastian Vettel, who is a racer, says he won't go to Russia to race in the Russian Grand Prix. So many of these happening. UEFA moving away the final UEFA Champions League to Paris just because of the crisis between Russia, this tension between Russia and Ukraine. That will be it on 360 Sport for this hour. Join us on Saturday morning by 10 a.m. on 360 Sport Weekend, where we give you lots of juicy sporting story and also to review all that happened during the week, and we preview the matches for the weekend. It's been a wonderful time with Olawale Peters. Good to have you.
It's my pleasure being here, Adeniyi.
Good one there. Well, that will be it once again. I am Adeniyi Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.